Welcome, friends. It's Gina Nicole, and this is the Goddess Channel. A message just dropped in for you guys right now as I was about to go eat, but I tried to not record right now, and then I couldn't think about it. I couldn't even think about not recording. It just kept coming to me like, this message is strong, you need to share it. So we're recording immediately. And so I think it's probably going to be a short one for you. But anyway, what came in for you has to do with how we go through the process of life and growth. And specifically, how a lot of the time we can judge our life process. We can judge the pace at which we grow. We can judge how we come back to old patterns sometimes that we thought we had already transformed. How we maybe feel like we should be farther along or farther ahead than we are. There's so much on this spiritual growth, spiritual ascension path that has led us to judge ourselves up until now, especially as empaths, as sensitive people, rather than turning our judgment outwards towards the world. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes we do that too. But primarily, we tend to put much more of our judgment inwards. And I will say, even those of us who have done a lot of work on ourselves and we're 99% better than we used to be, will still catch ourselves kind of being down about our journey or our process or how we're feeling. We'll be a little bit down or feeling disappointed or frustrated or, whatever it is. And what Spirit wants to share with you today is any judgment, anything on the frequency of judgment that we have for ourselves is not how Spirit views us, period. And so just know, if you're feeling like you're not progressing fast enough, or you're not transforming things quick enough that you really want to transform, or you're just like, why am I stuck in this pattern or this habit or this way of being or way of thinking or whatever, when I know better, right? That's what's crazy, is we'll see ourselves repeating the same patterns or the same way of doing things or thinking or whatever, when you're like, I know this is not healthy or this is not helping me. I know better than this. Whether it's eating processed foods or, zoning out on Netflix or getting into an argument with your parents or, whatever it might be. Dating the same type of person. Historically, you always tend to date and it always blows up. Whatever the pattern is where you're like, why have I not gotten beyond this? Why am I still doing the same things or feeling the same feelings? Why is this happening? This is what Spirit wants you to know from a higher perspective. Spirit will never transform a pattern on your behalf when it's going to hurt you in the long run. So let me say that again. Spirit will never transform a pattern on your behalf if it's going to hurt you in the long run. And so this is what they're saying divine timing is. We may think that I just want to feel different, or I just want to look different, or I just want to act different, or be received by other people differently, or have more money in my bank account, or whatever the thing is. And Spirit is like, yes, we want that for you deeply. We deeply want what you want. And you can't put the cart before the horse. In other words, if you being in that new frequency without actually having the fundamental structure for that new frequency to take and be harmonious in your field, it's only going to backfire on you. You can't have something you're not ready for before you're ready for it. Okay, that made no sense how I said that. Spirit is not going to give you something you're not ready for because it's actually going to hurt your progress. But Spirit will give it to you the moment you're ready for it. Let me give you an example. I found myself being down on myself about how I was eating, how I was just doing like simple daily stuff where I was like, I feel like I should be better than this. I should be taking care of my body, managing my energy, doing healthy habits more than I am right now. Like I felt like I was backtracking and I was falling into old patterns that I had been in the past. But really, Spirit was bringing me back to these patterns for multiple reasons that would benefit my growth, but specifically to show me that I didn't need to be perfect before I could create and be proud of myself and put myself and my work out into the world. So, let me be even more specific about this. If Spirit had just made me like, oh, you're doing a great morning routine and you're, doing, walking and movement and yoga every day and you're eating so nutritiously. If Spirit had given me that, and then from that space, given me my creativity, my output, my productivity, I would have probably made some type of correlation like, oh, look at, now that I'm good in these areas, now look at how good I am in these other areas. Spirit didn't want to give me that false correlation, like I had to be perfect in order to be creative and productive. So instead, Spirit gave me a couple days period where I was feeling pretty discombobulated, pretty low energy, pretty down on myself, pretty frustrated and sort of like, why is this happening? While showing me that I could still be creative, productive, amazing, doing really interesting, cool things while I was kind of feeling down on myself and not behaving perfectly. So do you see what I'm saying here? How Spirit's like, I want to give you the gift of actually showing you all that you are and not just giving you what you want, because now when you from this empowered place and from this slay queen just as you are kind of place, I'm giving you more of a gift than if I had just given you what you wanted. I hope I'm really explaining this clearly, because this is just dropping in and I'm getting it just as raw as you're getting it right now. So in your life, if you are like, why am I backtracking? Why am I feeling this old stuff come up that I thought I would be beyond at this point? Notice that Spirit might be showing you, you can be experiencing things that you don't prefer, that you judge about yourself, that you don't like about yourself or your experience. And Spirit could be showing you that you are more than that. You are literally God in form. And by the way, for those of you who aren't familiar with me, I use the words God, Spirit, Source, Universe, etc. interchangeably. You just translate that to the word that lands with you. But anyways, you are literally God in form. And so God is not going to give you this sugar-coated experience just to make you happy in the moment. God is going to show you you can feel any type of way, and you can do bad behaviors sometimes, or what you judge to be bad behaviors, or you could be not as evolved physically as you think you should be based on your spiritual abilities, your spiritual connection, you being an old soul, or whatever you want to identify as. Spirit is saying you are so much more than how you identify yourself as a human being in this reality. You are so much more than that, and I'm going to prove it to you by showing you that you can make mistakes, you can be imperfect, you can be in a heavy or negative pattern around money or food or health or relationship, family, whatever it is. And yet, you can still be a creator. You can still be a good friend. You can still be, producing something of value in the world. You can still be loving. You can still be whatever, fill in the blank. Because you're being asked not to be defined on what there is to judge yourself about. Do not define yourself by what there is to judge yourself about. And by the way, this is evidence of the patriarchy crumbling, one pebble, one stone at a time. When we wake up to the fact that we don't have to be perfect, and that we no longer have to judge ourselves, and we can put our messy selves out there in the world and do whatever the hell we want, and create and be expressive and shine our light and do whatever we want to do, and it's nobody else's business, and we don't have to, perform and have this, exalted version of ourselves that somehow we imagined we need to be in order to be of value to ourselves, to our communities, to the world. That's what it looks like for the patriarchy to be crumbling in real time. And by the way, this is not about men or women or gender or whatever. This is about a structure that valued hierarchy and oppression. And a certain gender took that on board, but it imprisons all of us. Okay? So just know that this is an old way of being in this reality that's crumbling, and a new way emerging that is based on being co-creative, cooperative. You're going to see more collaborations happening between people. You're going to see people uplifting each other in small communities. You're going to see grassroots movements happening where people come together to work in tandem, to support each other. Like I said, to uplift one another, to create from collaboration rather than competition, to connect rather than put people on pedestals or in hierarchies or, having to earn respect. You're going to see over time things shifting as we decide to respect ourselves differently, to treat ourselves differently, to not demand perfection or performance or falling in line or being what some version of other people conditioned us to think that we're supposed to be. And so I know I'm saying a lot of words, but I'm saying this in a lot of different ways because I know if I say this in multiple ways, it's going to hit differently for different people. And so all in all, what this message is about today is you knowing that perfection is not required on this journey. Being a certain way, feeling, thinking, experiencing yourself in a certain way is not required. And so we're being invited to not judge ourselves on those things because Spirit does not see us through a lens of judgment, period. Period. And Spirit is giving us exactly the experience that we need to release that, by showing us that even in our most imperfect states, even as our most imperfect selves, whatever that means, right? That we can still shine our light. We can still be the unique, beautiful aspects of God and form that we are, without having to polish ourselves up first. We're here to be exactly as we are in this now moment. Like I said, doing whatever the heck we want, unapologetically, in our uniqueness, shining our light into the world in the way only each of us can. So if you've been waiting to publish your book, if you've been waiting to put your work out there, whatever that might be, if you've been waiting to apply for that job or to, connect with a person that you've been wanting to connect with, if you've been waiting to put yourself out there creatively, to do graphic design, to put your art out there, whatever it is, you don't need anything else. Your vision, your creativity, your unique perspective, your unique contribution is being asked for all the time. All the time. There's nothing to wait for. And if you put something out there raw that isn't totally well received, you can be proud of yourself that you were authentic and you were honest and you were vulnerable and you put it out there, and you can learn from that first experience and then adjust for the next time. So you're being called into self-respect, trust in yourself, faith that you are here to contribute, and trust that whatever is on your heart creatively, and that doesn't mean you have to feel like a visual artist or something like that to be creative. Whatever your heart is calling you to do, that might be work at a preschool. Whatever you are being called on to contribute, no matter how spiritual or not spiritual it seems to you, whatever is authentically on your heart, you don't need to be perfect to bring it to the world, because you're meant to be exactly who you are as you are now. So I thank you for your presence. I hope this message landed for you. And I see Mother Mary and Kuan Yin here, and Mary Magdalene coming in, and they're bringing in the image of a monarch butterfly. They're bringing in a star. They're bringing in a feather. And they're bringing in a coin. So butterfly, feather, star, or coin. I would invite you to pick whatever of those symbols is resonating with you right now. And today I'm going to pick the feather, but pick whatever of those symbols is resonating for you. And if you notice that symbol in your life over the next week or so, that's just a confirmation of this message for you. So thank you to you. Thank you to our spirit guides, our higher selves, ascended masters, beautiful beings who work with us in divine perfection, who brought this message through for you today. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I love you very much.